Hello guys, this is Kirks over here, and from this video we are actually starting a new series based on HTML. I already know that there are plenty of videos on HTML, CSS, JavaScript and all these stuffs on YouTube and other platforms, but I do believe that from my videos you can get something better and there is always some extra knowledge. Now let us start. HTML, one of the three trump cards that rules the web pages and one of the most basic language that every web developer or every web designer should know. If you are a beginner, you can't go further without learning HTML. So HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. But if I ask a person around me what HTML actually is, he would simply spell out this abbreviation, Hypertext Markup Language. But what does these four words actually mean? What these four words resembles? To know that, we should break these four words into two words, hypertext and markup language. What does hypertext resemble and what do markup language mean? Here I have put a small circle around hypertext and we are going to look what hypertext really means, and I am going to give you some real world examples regarding hypertext. Yeah, here we go. I have opened Firefox in my computer and I want to go to Google, so I press enter. So now we have reached Google. Let us search for something. Let's search for HTML. I typed HTML and press enter. As soon as I pressed HTML and entered, the Google loaded us a tons of results, so many results. So what all these results are basically, so we can see here blue color textures. When I hover mouse over them, we can see a blue underline under them, and there are plenty of blue stuff over here. So you all know that if I click on one of these blue textures, we will go to another page. So what are these blue text essentially? These blue textures are hyperlinks. In a better word, they are hypertextures. So for hypertextures, if I click any of these blue text over here, if I click HTML examples, we are going to another page. So here also we can see so many links. You see, as I hover any of the button, the mouse pointer changes to the hand like symbol, right? So there are plenty of hypertextures here also. Let's click any one of them. So HTML API, I clicked, so we came to another web page, not a website, we came to another web page. There are also plenty of them. So there are so many hyperlinks out there. If I click any of them, we will go to another page. So what these hyperlinks essentially do, they make the navigation on the internet easy. If there are no hyperlinks, we cannot link data, we cannot link pages from one page to another, and we can't do any of that. So hyperlinks are essentially one of the basic foundation stones of internet. And in order to build hypertextures, the blue color textures, we need HTML. By using the HTML language only, we can build hyperlinks. So there are some more things about hypertextures. Hypertextures are always highlighted in a blue, it can be any color. I have seen them in many colors also, and they stand out from the rest of the textures with these specialities. So there are plenty of hypertextures over here. So that's basically hypertextures. Now you know that in the word HTML, in the abbreviation HTML, what hypertext is. Now we want to move to markup language. So what is a markup language? What is the difference between a markup language and a programming language? So before answering this question, I have to say one thing. Whichever the language we type for coding, we are actually communicating with the computer to make it do something for us. So if you are doing programming, we are making the computer able to do some complex things. But if we are using markup language, we are doing less complex things that the computer can easily do. So we does not require that much programming. The basic thing is that computers only understand zeros or ones. So what this HTML and other programming languages basically do is that they are all converted into byte codes, that is zeros and ones, and the computers can easily understand this. But programming languages and markup languages, they both use different syntaxes. In the case of programming language, they use some computer related keywords like variables, data types, more stuff like that. But in the case of markup languages, they are moreover human readable, and they use standard English words which can easily be understood by a beginner who is just coming into web development and has no computer related experience at all. Now here I am showing one basic snippet of HTML. It is what HTML looks like. So now here we have so many things written. So if you are not into HTML before, if you read this, you can easily understand this is a head, this is a body. So you have heard this word somewhere in your life. So if we can relate this head to something like we can relate it to a human body. We have a head, we have a body, we have HTML written over here. So it is all human readable. We have a title over here. So it is all human readable, and it is directly taken from the English dictionary. So that's what markup language is all about. Now I have told you about the human readability of HTML, the standard English words used in HTML, but there is one more thing, that is tags. HTML uses something for tags like call tags. It is used to define different parts of HTML or to structure the HTML. So this is an example of tags. We can see here HTML tag, head tag, body tag. All the tags have a beginning and an ending. So we will look about that in the coming videos, so you just understand what is tags. Now there are not only HTML, there are other languages also which have markup. Like we have XML, that is especially used for laying out Android applications, and we have YAML. YAML is used for laying out Flutter applications. So that's all about hypertext and markup language. So I hope that I have told you completely about the full form of HTML. Now we are going to answer a question. What is the main importance of HTML? Why it is very important to learn HTML? Originally, HTML was developed with the intent of defining the structure of documents like headings, paragraphs, lists, and so forth to facilitate sharing of documents between researchers. But now HTML is being widely used to format web pages with the help of different tags available in HTML language. So HTML is a must for students and working professionals to become a great software engineer, specifically when they are working in web development domain. So I will list down some of the key advantages of learning HTML. Create websites. You can create a website or customize an existing website template if you know HTML well. Then you can become a web designer. If you want to start a career as a professional web designer, HTML and CSS designing is a must skill. Now the third advantage is that you can easily understand complex concepts of web. If you want to optimize your website to boost its speed and performance, it is good to know HTML to yield best results. Now the fourth advantage, it is one of the main advantage. Once you understand the basics of HTML and CSS, then other technologies like JavaScript, PHP, Angular, React, other web technologies are very much easier to learn, and it acts as a stepping stone to the web development career. Now we are looking on to the requirements that you need as a beginner web developer to learn HTML and code along. So the first requirement obviously is a PC or laptop. You should have it or you can't do anything. So then we move on. The second requirement that we mostly need is a web browser. So there are plenty of web browsers out there. I personally prefer Chrome because it has a lot of tools that help developers to make their journey easy. So you have Firefox, Internet Edge, and if you're a Mac user, you can use Safari as well. The third thing that we need is a text editor. There are a lot of text editors, IDEs down there in the market. So I will list out a few. Sublime Text is a good option. It's a code editor or a text editor, you can say. Then we have the VS Code. It's an IDE, so you can do other than web development in VS Code, and if you are not willing to download any of these softwares, you can easily write HTML code as simple as in a notepad and save it as HTML file. And Atom is a good text editor. It has quality themes. And that's all in this video. I have discussed what I know about HTML and what are the things that you should be aware while learning HTML, and that's it.